support for the Confederacy is not consistent with American patriotism. So
Right.
that's the losing side. You know, they win again. You know what I mean? But then again, some people feel like the states didn't have the right to do that and all this kind of stuff. But
I just feel like, my personal opinion, I don't feel like it's wrong to support or have an affinity for the Confederate flag or Confederacy, because some people it's just their culture, what they adopted from their family, outside of what it meant to other people. It's like, maybe, but I'm not supporting that. I'm just saying, outside of that,
right. ...
You know what I mean? I feel like I could look at it objective enough to say, all right, it's not that he's disregarding how it might have affected some people.
Wow.
It's just this to him.
Do you think it could be said that people do that with hip hop culture the same way?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right.
And this is why I'm always like in this middle ground with it, because when I keep the same energy on another topic, it's like, I can see this,
right,
but I can see that too.
Right, you got to be consistent, yeah.
As our good friend Jared Sanders always said, the nuance.
Yeah, it's nuance. Shout out to Jared Sanders.
You know what I'm saying? The nuance of things. So I feel the same way about hip hop, because I got an affinity for hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
You do.
I grew up on it.
Guess who worship hip hop now? It ain't me. Y'all was wrong.
Well, speaking of hip hop and Christian hip hop, do you think Christian hip hop is a genre or a community, as Ruslan just said in his joint part 1 that he dropped today?
To me, it's definitely a community.
It's a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say gangster rap is a genre, or expensive rap is a genre, or trap is a genre.
I'm glad you said that, because that's like one of my main points, and some people think that those are genres. I'm like, well, so people that do gangster rap don't
Christian
got
rap,
a community of gangster talk? Like,
Christian
I don't
rap
know.
is more of a community because it's surrounded by an ideal outside of music. And but see, it's dysfunctional because, like, the music is the reflection of the church. So people within your own congregation don't agree on things. So how much more music, especially now with technology and the internet, you know what I'm saying? People are less accountable to one another because of the internet. You know what I'm saying? Before, remember back in the day, it was like you had to be co-signed by such and such, and you had to have your pastor's big homie to let you go out and put out music. Now you could just upload something from your room. So I'll tell you what I mean? It's dysfunctional because some things, like, everyone doesn't view it as ministry. You know what I'm saying? I don't do music as ministry. I never did. I never, from the time I got saved and I was doing music, I've never said I got to rap for God. I've always rapped from the same place, which was just my thoughts, my experiences, my conversations. So the more I change, the more the music changes, or whatever the music reflects. But it's like, I had this conversation with Jafia on the phone the other day. I said, the difference between me and you is I won't shun being called a Christian rapper or CHH.
Right.
Even though I might not consider myself as such, because when I look at CHH, by the majority in the community, it's those that do it for ministry. So if I define it by that, I won't consider myself CHH.
Right.
But if you call me CHH because you see ministry, because my music has ministered to people or whatever, I'm not gonna shun it and be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And Jafari got his reasons. He gave me valid reasons in our conversation. I'll let him speak for himself. But for me, I'm whatever you want to call me. There's people that said, you definitely not a Christian rapper.
Right.
All right. Because what they view Christian rap is
not what you do.
Not what I do to them. Right. They might, they'll say me and Meech don't do the same thing.
Right. No doubt. They would.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, whatever you want to call it, just like the church.
Interesting thing about CHH, I was talking to Bizzle the other day, talking to rappers, and I said, there's a difference I see. that what Meech talks about with the spirit of hip hop, right? You don't really see the other genres of Christian music having Twitter fights and breakdowns and stuff like that. We go at each other like secular rap does. You think the gospel industry don't have hatred, malice, backbiting, and every other sin that's everywhere? Mm-hmm. Why they don't be having meltdowns and breakdowns and all of this kind of stuff is because the contentiousness of hip hop is in us. Like I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna hold that back. You don't think these guys got issues with each other the same way? They do. What is it in Christian hip hop that makes us every couple weeks somebody's
it's the contention of rap,
exposing somebody,
but it's also the contention of religion too.
Then why doesn't it manifest the same? Because I'm saying they have the same contentions and beefs and issues and backbitings and betrayals. Why doesn't it manifest in that? I'm just gonna say whatever I want. I don't care. I'm tired of it. I'm expose you. You know what I mean? That's not that hip hop is the only place you find that, but it's so prevalent in hip hop.
Boss, you know what's funny about that though?
Hip hop is fatherless.
Why y'all know POD, right?
Yes, sir.
So the rock group POD.
Mm-hmm.
I never really saw the Christian rock movement of people of fans gunning POD for seeming and appearing so secular, and they seem to have at least put their faith out there, different things that I've seen as far as them consider themselves to be Christian believers, and they've had music that's reflected that, and they're out there touring with Metallica or whatever, Blink-182, like they're in all that stuff. And I never really seen the Christian rock community be gunning POD because POD looking like
you know why? But you know why though?
I got a theory after Rigz. I got a theory. I'll spoke on that.
So
yeah.
What I think it is that Christian hip hop is so small. It's not like regular hip hop. It's not like Christian rock. Almost like it's almost like females in rap. There's only one at a time, and whoever's in the winning position wants to dictate what it should look like. And I think that's what happened in Christian hip hop, because when cross movement was in control, if you wasn't reformed, you wasn't getting those shows. You was a heretic. You was all that. And then Christian hip hop just kind of took on that. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying.
Right.
From when I came in, that's what it was. So when the next generation came, that kind of carried on. Now it's like, if you ain't talking about the streets, or if you ain't giving your testimony, you just out here rapping seminary rap. You need to get out the way. So it's just like somebody's always trying to dictate what it should be instead of letting everything coexist. That's what I think.
I agree with you. I just want to take it a step further. And I think Meech will think this is interesting because of the conversations we've been having, right? It's monolithic black thought. There is no one way to be white. You could be Marilyn Manson, you could be Mandy Moore, you could be Britney Spears. They have so much of a plethora of how they can express themselves and who they can be.
Yep.
The black identity is capped.
Yep.
So everybody's capped, whether you intellectual or whether you rep the gang. No, the other black is not. No, that's not how you be black. It's the monolithic identity that we think we have to find. We're always searching for what's really black. What's the real? What's the way to be? I saw a white dude on Twitter says, as a white man, I have the privilege of being myself without being called a traitor to my race.
That's such a good point, bro. Because I'm thinking about reggae music. We don't have that problems in reggae music. So that's interesting. That's a really good point.
It's that bondage of black identity, a continual search for a singular identity that fits us all. And by contrast, we also project that onto white people. That's why we say, you know how these white people are.
It's interesting. It's so crazy because it's so deeply embedded in us that you can tell exactly when somebody does something different. We don't accept it. We don't accept it openly. They get no love. You take somebody like Candace Owens. Now, we can understand that other people going to hear this podcast and everybody may not agree with her ideology, blah, blah, blah. Right. But it's so funny. How come she ain't being shared with the Black Girl Magic stuff? She's shutting the political scene down in some ways.
Right.
A week or so ago, the viral video that went on, man, let that have been I don't know, one of the other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing, you know,
Right.
somebody quote unquote more black. It had been shared everywhere. You're not allowed to think differently. And yes, that does totally go towards hip hop. It's all dancing within the same family without question.
Can anybody point, and of course they always say we all make our jokes among ourselves. Can anybody point to any other ethnic or racial group that when you do something different, they say you're not this race?
Me personally, I haven't seen it.
You're not really Chinese. They can say, yeah, you're not being true to your culture. It's not our way. But we really on some like, yo, you're not. We got a whole long rap sheet of jokes. You're not invited to the barbecue, or you can't come to the cookout. You're not really black. We're doing the race trading. We're trading this one for that one. I don't see other ethnicities make those kind of jokes to where if you jump off the ideology, you are not down with the race anymore.
It's so scary.
That's the polar opposite. That's the polar opposite equivalent of white supremacy. You're white first, not your values. What do you mean? White men don't do that. That's white supremacy at work.
Yep.
In reverse.